Hello everyone, welcome to the Ahdurin region. I am your host Ahdurin himself. We are back with the Ace Attorney series here, brought to you by Capcom. I'm doing that again for once. Check out the playlist in the description below. I'm actually changing things up, and we're just going to dive straight into it. If you want to subscribe and all that, you can do that, but we're just going to get straight into the story here. I need to actually remember what we did last time. It has been a couple of moments, but let's see if we have conversational pieces. Here we go. So Lana has some things to talk to us about, and I think it's time for us to actually get talking. So let's get going. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so, because of a certain individual. Memories are flowing back into me. There's a playlist in the description, by the way, in case you haven't caught up yet. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say? So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. Ooh, I really like cocky Phoenix. I really like Phoenix just like, yeah, I know exactly what's going on here. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you to silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom, may I ask, is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? I'm gonna take a wild stab and say it's Gant. Take that! Well, Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, you were addressing the chief prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I know. I guess she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? Alright, let's talk about Gant. We're getting one piece at a time, which is very interesting. Because normally we'd have multiple bullet points, but this is really streamlining the conversation here. We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically, hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with the evidence was me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other. I mean, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. The thing that popped into my head is... Where is it? The jar here. I just found this in a safe in the chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. I wonder if that camera has voice recording. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. It's as you surmised. I cannot disobey the Chief's orders. The Chief's orders? Even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate. In the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Orders. Okay, let's get into more detail about these orders. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you were not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edward's scar. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The you mean Edward's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident. Serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him, so I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. Huh? That would be Edward's knife. That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand. Yes. It seems that I got blood on the victim's shoes as well. And then she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. This would be Miss Starr, huh? Why did you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? Oh, we've got the second option here, Dark's knife. It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that by whatever means possible. So, you hid Dark's knife? The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have had a field day with that. So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it. In Edward's exhaust pipe. Right. Then I called my sister to tell her what happened and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler. You asked Emma? I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this. That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence. I mean, Lana literally was like, hey, I didn't do it. Here's some evidence. Go hide it. Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day. A bad feeling? The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. A phone call to Patrolman Jake Marshall. To Marshall? Why on earth would you call him? The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. Right, this is his brother. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust. Or at least, I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own. Oh, you mean... Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands. And he disguises himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence. He had already stolen the ID card, but it seemed he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. I apologize for the breaks, everyone. I'm just piecing things together because this is extremely complicated and yet makes sense, which is fun, but also, like, getting through it in my head is, like, somewhat difficult. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared. So your phone call caused the incidents in the evidence room. I'm afraid that's all I can tell you. But, Lana, you've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this any further in court tomorrow. Gosh darn it, Lana! Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's a real murderer. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago. To be continued. We're at a good point. We can jump straight into the next section, I presume, at least. Yeah, let's jump into the next section. Let's go. February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, all right, but there's no defendant. Been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? Oh, brother. This can't be great. Where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Who's this? Oh, great. Edgeworth, how you doing? Edgeworth! Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of these 7's ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright, and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. First time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth. Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. Depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, Wright. Edgeworth being really introspective. Alright, this is it. Alright, here we go. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom number 9.
Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make.
Chief Gant? Hello.
Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Haji, been back to the pool yet?
No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work.
That's a good one. Don't think I could top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
I always feel like there's a glitch in whenever there's that long pause. I'm so not used to Gant having that pause.
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what? She did not discuss with her lawyers about this. I would know. I'm the lawyer.
Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted her request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
Okay, what exactly is going on?
What's this all about, defendant?
I'd just like to make one simple request, and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. What? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana, what? What?
Objection!
I'm objecting by what? Objection myself. You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. Oh, great, I'm fired now. Come on. But Lana. Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me. It has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial,
Oh, great.
even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
This can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Thank you. Let's go, Edgeworth.
One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth.
The prosecution has not yet proven the defense guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you. But why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, huh?
I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Kent.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the little naive boy that you would have me be.
Get him, Edgeworth.
With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal. Hmm? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Miss Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony.
Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue.
I don't care what you think, Miss Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Kent?
Worthy. You'll live to regret this. Mark my words.
Miss Emma Skye, please take the stand.
Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. All right. Now it's me and Edgeworth working together. Let's do this. There's Emma.
Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Okay then.
They sure gave in fast. Got that one Edgeworth glare.
Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago.
The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. 2 years ago, the witness testimony, and we will start that on the next episode. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Reminder, playlist in the description. If for some reason you've picked this episode and haven't checked out the previous ones, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you very much for supporting in any way, shape, or form that you do. Until next time, take care.